guys, welcome back to another episode of PressHer Podcast, Season 2. And I'm joined here today with my lovely co-host, Paige, Andrea. And if you don't know me, my name is Deja, and we also have a special guest today, and her name is V. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is V, or Victoria, or Io, and I am the Durag Shouty.
Hey. Okay, and so today, guys, we're just going to go ahead and talk about some things that a lot of people of color face, and it is colorism.
Yeah.
Now, with that, we have all of our shades of brown, and so we just want to sit here and come together as women, not to bash or anything like that, but more so uplift each other and talk about some of the downfalls and where we can help each other moving forward, correct these, and show the people younger than us how to embrace everybody.
I know for one that, a lot of people don't really understand or have a good grasp of what colorism is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I think that's a good, starting point to kind of start the conversation is what do we think colorism is?
Okay.
And for, all these years with me and my, readings and understanding of it, I always thought it was the perspective of how we treat one another. Mm-hmm. How's the scale? But then I realized that's kind of unfair because it is a part of, how we treat one another as far as our skin tones within our own community, but it's also about privilege.
Right.
And I feel like if you can understand the concept of racism and how privilege plays a big part, and so I think that's my best way of understanding it. This is about how we treat each other and the privilege that comes with it.
And I agree with you on that. Also, when you said the community, I know for colorism, I know that people who are not Black or African American, or I know that they have their own viewpoint of us, and I'm just realizing within the last couple of years of how serious it is within us, ourselves.
Absolutely.
Of Black people. And it's like, okay, well, I definitely feel like it needs to start with us.
Absolutely.
Just to stop the whole entire hate of the way somebody looks or their color or whatever. I just know that it's dimmed a lot of opportunities for certain people just based off of what someone looks like and who said it was wrong or right to judge somebody off of that.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think it starts, within our own community because we do, in a lot of cultures, think that light skin is the right skin or white is right, so to speak. And I think that, once we start within ourselves to kind of try to cope with that and understand that certain things are not to be said because it kind of, let me look for the word, it kind of just perpetuates us to be more thinking that we got to be lighter. And it's just little things like, I don't want to stay outside too long because I don't want to get dark.
Yeah.
I don't want to get dark.
I've heard that so many times from people.
We've grown up so much, and even our parents has probably said it sometimes, and they don't understand that that's putting like a chip in our brain to think that dark is not okay. Mm-hmm. And so I know I grew up and was like, "Ooh, you got a tan," or "Ooh, you got darker, you've been in the sun," and so we have been raised to think that that is a negative and bad thing, and so. For me, I'm just now realizing at 28 that that's how my mindset was. And even to this day, I kind of find myself like, oh, I don't want a tan. I don't want to get a tan. But if you sit back, you're like, why not? Mm-hmm. Why don't you want to get a tan? What's wrong with getting a tan? Yeah. You know what I mean? In any aspect. I mean, it's just, it starts within us, and it starts with, our people and us realizing that certain things that we are saying affects what we do subconsciously.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with what y'all said, but also I think, honestly, it goes further beyond us. I feel like it's something that they put onto us, and now this is the reaction, or this is the aftermath of what happens when they plant these seeds in our minds. Like, and when I say they, it's like other races, because that's why we have racism. And then, so it's us, with them, it's just white and Black, or anybody outside of their race is racist, or it's another situation with the other race. But then within, they now have planted something within us where now we're dividing ourselves within our community, and it's just like, at the end of the day, to them, we're all black. So they don't ask you on a piece of paper if you light skin or dark skin. It's either you black or you. It don't matter if you mixed or not. Either you black, if you got a little pinch of black in you.
The one drop rule right there.
That's all that matters to them. So it's like they have already planted us. They have already planted that seed within us, and it's like now we have this is the aftermath. So now we have to do the work to kind of break that. It's like a generational curse, like you know, or like a cultural curse, like you know, like now we have to do the work to kind of like break those shackles off of us, because it's not really something that we went to go look for. It's something like they planted in us and within our communities and poverty and all the things that we've struggled with, and it's like now we're fighting each other. And that's how they divide us, and that's how they keep the negative things that they have going on in our community, because they want to keep us divided. They don't want to see us doing good together, because when we are doing good, we're powerful.
We're stronger, unified.
Right. So
can I read y'all something? I was just looking on Network, Oprah Winfrey, and she had this called Black Woman Owned, and it was called The Conversation. And so I think they were talking about colorism, and it was this woman that was just speaking on her perspective in her behalf. And I kind of like quoted her because I thought that this quote was very, very beautiful, and it was just straightforward and to the point. So I'm going to read it real quick. So she goes, "I'm medium tone. I'm too dark for some, too light for others, but our opportunity is to decide who we intend to be in the space and how we will treat others in that space with us." She goes, "Whether we see the prejudice or the privilege, there are these who are making decisions about us, and they are imposing those decisions on us. When they hire, when they fire, when they send a preschooler to timeout, or when they send a teenager to prison, these choices are made so we can dismiss that." So it says rather we have preschooler and timeout, or when they send a teenager to prison, so we can't dismiss that it exists, but we can build the protections around ourselves so that we are doing it internally. Now I kind of read that kind of real weird because I wrote real weird, but you guys understand my gist of what we were just saying is we have to do the work within ourselves, because it has already been, you know, engraved in us from outside.
Exactly.
And so when I read that, I think that just really stuck with me, and it really hit with me, so I wanted to give y'all that quote.
I love it. And that reminds me of the brown paper bag test. Now, to prep for this conversation, because again, I don't ever want to talk from ignorance, so I did a little research about the brown paper bag test. And, you know, kind of gave me a little history lesson about, again, if you can understand racism, you can understand colorism, because it all starts from the plantation where, again, it was put onto us that lighter is better, lighter is right, because the slave masters would sleep with the slaves, have kids, which will come out fairer skin, lighter skin, and they will have a little bit more privilege than the others, which means they're working in the house. They don't have the hard labor. Right. And so we are internalizing that to think that they are better. So even after slavery ended, you know, colorism was still perpetuated within our society because lighter skinned people had more opportunities. Because they are closer to whiteness. We are still looked at as, like you said, black, but we're closer to whiteness. And so that is looked at as a little closer to being better. Being white is right. And so, again, that helps perpetuate this toxic legacy of colorism, is that we've always had a leg up. We always had this privilege. And so it creates this type of resentment that is put onto our community. And I don't think it's anything wrong, because it's just an effect of what has happened and what has been put onto us. It's resentment for lighter skinned people, which goes to my next question, is why is colorism harmful to our community?
I think it's harmful because it's still, as a whole, black people are looked at as the last. You know what I'm saying? So I watched the Dave Chappelle series that he just did. And I don't know if y'all watched it or not, but I liked it.
I loved it.
And what he was talking about was a slave who was was so close with his slave owner. You know, he set him free, he let him free or whatever. He wound up getting slaves. And he did his slaves worse than a slave now. Like, you're talking about a slave who was free and made money and then went and hired other slaves and treated them worse. And it's just, I think it's just, I said that to say, it goes all the way back to what America has set a standard of successful and what successful looks like to America.
Absolutely.
And like, so when he, you know, when he did that, he was just imitating what he saw, what was success. Mm-hmm. And that's not always the case. So when you ask, like, why, what puts it on our community, it's because you have all these different shades of black people, and if you could still, and then you have the light ones, and if those are looked at as better or more successful or this, then, I mean, that's the opportunity. It's still dog eat dog. Yeah, we're all black, but you're still fighting against, you don't want to fight against your brother or sister, but it's a lot of family members who have the same mother and father, and one might be darker and one might be light. And it's like, okay, well, is it fair that your brother who's lighter than you gets a better opportunity in life when y'all come from the same household, same values, same morals? No, but is that the case sometimes? You know what I'm saying? Yes. And it's just messed, you know, it's just very touchy and it's very messed up. I mean, I grew up light skinned, obviously, so I don't, my opinion is just my opinion, but I guess, V, for you, like, how was it growing up? Because you're, you know, you're a very successful woman, you know what I'm saying? You have a business, you know, you're beautiful, you're a model, you do all these things. Can you tell us a little bit of your perspective on it, or how did you overcome not the hate side, you know, more so of the, I guess, in love with yourself, or like?
Honestly, if I'm being honest, I hated my skin my entire life. I'm 26, and I can honestly say I remember vividly starting to maybe like my skin my first year of college. And that was like the first time I told myself, like, maybe being dark's not too bad, you know? But for the longest, I really did not like my skin. I was always just, you know, kind of pointed out or like just stood out or whatever, and not in a positive way. It wasn't celebrated, like being dark or having melanin and all these things that now are, like, you know, more embraced. But back then, and then I was African on top of that, so it's like, you African, you got this name, and you dark skinned, it's like, girl, you just losing, you know, type of thing. So I think that just was always engraved in my mind. Like, I just was not beautiful. Like, my skin, I just hated my skin. I remember, and being African, bleaching your skin and stuff is not like, it's not shocking or anything. So like, that was also a thought. Like, I remember wanting to bleach my skin. I never talked about it with nobody, but I remember thinking about that, like, I want to be lighter, you know, just a little bit, you know, maybe I can get a little boo, or, you know, I had dudes and stuff, but it was just like, it just seemed like they wanted more light-skinned women, you know. So my entire life, I can say I didn't really like my skin, just because of what the masses liked, or what they preferred, was a fair-toned woman. And being in high school or being younger, you didn't talk about colorism or anything. It's just,
it was what it was.
Yeah. So, but now being 26 and going through a lot of things and learning how to teach myself how to love myself and embrace every part of me, good and bad, that's probably the best thing about me, you know. Like, I love my skin now, you know. I absolutely don't care who it offends, who's uncomfortable.
Let
it's
it
not
hear
my
it.
job to make you comfortable,
Right,
you know.
absolutely.
And if my skin makes you uncomfortable, the issue is with you.
Right.
The issue is deeper, you know. So that's kind of where I am, but I'm having to teach myself how to love myself, because society is not teaching us that.
Right.
So, you know, so it's like, now I have to do the work times 10 and try to unlearn all the things that I carried with me throughout my childhood and throughout my young adulthood. And now I'm like, okay, well, I'm an adult now, so I now have to realize what I want to let go and what I want to carry with me. And loving myself and loving my skin and who I am is something that I want to learn how to do healthy, you know, and do it the right way, and not base everything off of what I carried or what people put onto me, you know. So, but it's work, you know, because you go your whole life thinking a certain way, and it's just like, now you just wake up and you realize I'm not that, you know. Or I don't have a problem with my skin. I never did. But it's like, I feel like that's who we are. We're bits of pieces of people in the world until we finally decide, you know what, I want to change the narrative, you know. I want to ask myself who I am. I want to look in the mirror and be happy with what I see and be comfortable with who I am, you know. So I got tired for this past couple years, I got tired of like trying to please people and show up as this other person, or changed myself so much. And now it's like I want to embrace who I am, you know. And part of that is my skin. A lot of that is my skin and what I look like.
Right.
So
that's beautiful.
And I kind of want to take it to a point of me recognizing colorism. When I realized that I played a part in it, or that I was oblivious, which again is privilege. I have the privilege to be oblivious to colorism because I'm favored in that whole landscape. And I finally came full circle to think when I realized that a lot of, I hate to bring it back to men, but again, men perpetuate colorism. Rap lyrics and hip hop, the red bone type of thing. Got me a fine red bone. You hear that a lot. Yeah. You look in the music videos. Who do you see? And so in your head, you're thinking they favor that, and so subconsciously you think that I'm a higher choice.
Right.
And I didn't think anything of that until recently. I started to see how when men think that they're uplifting women or light-skinned women or their preference, they like to say, why are you devaluing black women when you do that? And that's when I first started to see that that's an issue. Because you can say, I like this type, whatever my preference. I like tall men. I like chocolate men, but I wouldn't talk down on anybody else to say that I like this.
Exactly.
And so that's when I started to really do a little more digging of, why is this a thing? Why do you feel that way? And I'm kind of offended that you feel like you need to say that because your mom looks like that. Your sister looks like that. You come from that, so why devalue something just to say that this is my preference?
And they look like that.
And it's crazy. It's delusion at this point.
Why it comes down to how you view yourself at the end of the day. You hate dark-skinned women, you hate black women. You must hate yourself, because at the end of the day, you're projecting how you really feel about yourself, and it shows. You can tell, and it's just like, I don't get it. And honestly, I feel like it's dark skin and light skin, but I feel like it's also light skins they deal with a fair share of obstacles as well within the whole colorism thing. People automatically label them as like, they're just pretty, just sit pretty and don't have nothing else to, don't have nothing else to add to the table, or like, they just be a pretty girl on a man's arm, or just that's
hypersexualized because of hip hop.
Yeah, again. Like literally, that it's almost like light skinned women don't have value, and then it's also dark skinned women don't have value. It's like at the end of the day, it's still us against each other. Like nobody is winning in this situation, Yeah. So it's like, but that's what they want,
A losing fight.
It's literally like we're losing, but it's like against each other. Like that's what they're planting in us. It's like, so we're survival of the fittest, so we have to step on each other to get to where we're going, or bring somebody else down to make us feel better. It's like we're on the same team, guys. Like we're rooting for each other where we're supposed to be. But here we are now divided, and now here they are all together. You don't see them talking about trailer trash, or white people this or white people that, or it's
brunettes versus redheads. Like no one's doing anything.
Orange hair, ginger over here, blondie over here. It's all, they all one person or one group. So it's just like, why do we not see what they're doing? But it's like we have to have conversations like this, because I truly do believe part of our culture or race is some people just don't know better.
Right.
And then some people just don't want to do better, So it's like, how can we meet in the middle? And it's like by having conversations like this.
Awareness.
Yes. Starting the conversation, bringing awareness, just starting it, because a lot of people don't want to talk about it because, like we said, it's touchy. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. And, sometimes these conversations just don't want to offend anybody. But it's like not having it does not dismiss it from being a reality. It's there. So it's like, let's try to get ahead of it. We're already 400 years behind, like we're trying to catch up. So it's like, let's talk about it. You can't heal what you don't acknowledge. Right. So
there we go. Be okay to be corrected.
Right.
With your point of view and your thinking when it comes to colorism. Right. So I think that's one thing that I kind of was shying away from, was being corrected. Because you want to be validating your experience, which I always say a symptom of colorism, which I like to look at colorism as a disease within our community. And the symptoms behind it is, are different for light-skinned people, or they're different for darker-skinned people. For me, I would say, because people that are affected by colorism that do not have the privilege may distrust us a little bit because of what's engraved in them. So we may have been bullied a little bit more, walking in the room and not feeling like you can really be confident because you don't want to offend anybody, because they may think, I don't know if y'all have heard it. I've heard it all my life growing up. She thinks she all that.
She likes skin.
And it always came from I haven't said a word. I walked in the room, I haven't said anything, and I'm be straight up on it. I was bullied.
Yeah.
Growing up, and I had to learn how to fight. I had to learn how to argue. I had to learn how to, be comfortable walking confrontation, because you never know who you're going to offend, and it makes you kind of resent colorism in itself, because you think it's reverse colorism, but that's not how colorism works. We still have the privilege.
Yeah.
Or even,
on top of that,
like
it's a symptom of it.
It's definitely sad. Like even now, like I'll be on the phone. And I'll joke about me not being as light skinned as I am, because I feel like, I'm brown. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't view myself as yellow or as bright.
I just came to terms that I am yellow as hell.
Right, and it's just like, but like even then, like, and then my boyfriend was like, bro, like, this is what you are. You know what I'm saying? Like you tripping, and it's just like, well, for the longest I've always been the only black girl on the soccer team. So I'm surrounded with all these white women, and then when I go to my cousin's house and my family's house, I'm the only
you're not
light skinned one. You know what I'm saying? So
you're not black enough, or
there you go.
You just don't. You really just don't know how to go. So it does take. I think for every black person, I think it takes us a while to grow into our skin and ourself, and be able to appreciate what we are, what we truly are. Because it's just it definitely is. You never know if you're going to offend somebody just by the way you look, or you'll have friends and they'll be like, well, girl, you light skinned, what you worried about it for? Or even the whole entire thing with the lotion, you light skinned, can't see, that don't mean my skin don't need lotion. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I am ashy.
Okay. I can feel it.
It itches.
Yeah, it's just
gonna turn
very much dry.
Yeah, so I mean, but I think with women, though, I think that for us, it's definitely important. And when you think about the whole entire dynamic of how humans are created, you know what I'm saying? And we're living in a very black men are popular life. Well, how are y'all still going to create the chocolate babies to have, like that are attractive or whatever? Like we're all supposed to be, quote unquote, in like 20 years, all blended and mixed. They have it like
from all the interracial
dating and stuff, and it's just like then everybody gonna look the same. And are y'all gonna like that? Then you have no options, then you have no choices, then you have no flavor. Like it's just, is that what you want? Like I don't know. So it's just,
there's so many layers to it. I don't see anybody winning right now. But I really wish and hope that us women can realize, like, we have to help each other. I can honestly say I'm not perfect, but I can say jealousy and envy is not a struggle for me. So when I was being picked on, or when I was being mistreated, because I had like light-skinned friends, like close friends, so I was like, I knew like a lot of people would first want to talk to them, or like they would like first pick or whatever. I never was jealous of them. It just made me internalize, like made me feel like I wasn't worthy enough, or like my value was really low. So it's not like I hated them, because I'm like, it's not their fault, like that people like them because of their skin. It's just I internalized it. So it's just like, why get mad at the light-skinned person because they're picked? It's none of our faults that we get the hands. Yeah, we get the hands that the cards that we were dealt. So it's kind of like, once we realize we're not each other's enemy, and like we need to now change the narrative and be like, well, you're not gonna treat my light skinned sister like that. You're not gonna treat my dark skinned sister like that. We sisters, and if whoever fits perfect for the job or whatever, that's different. But it's just like, don't think it's a competition. Don't think I'm jealous because she has whatever or she doesn't. Or it's like, we're on the same team, and that's how I've always been. But I just internalized. I hate that I internalized it towards myself, and then I started hating myself more so than hating somebody else. But I'd rather me have hated myself, as far as like now I can work on it and do the work, than me going around the world hating all types of light skinned women, or hating just women in general. Just because society has placed this demeanor mentality onto us. So that's also a thing.
I will say there's one thing that I think I can agree with, that all tones, shades of black women go through, and that is, and I think like more so of brown skin, dark skin girls probably get it more, but I know I've gotten it a lot of men saying, oh, you're cute to be a black girl, or you're cute to be a dark skinned girl, or just things like that. And I just feel like that has always offended me, and I wish I was offended more so when I was younger, because I got it a lot when I was younger from high school guys. You know what I mean? Oh, you're cute to be a black girl, or you're cute to be this, and it's kind of like, so I'm a different kind of cute. Why can't I just be cute? Or why can't you just be beautiful? You got to be beautiful before a black girl. I've had coworkers as recent as me being like 23 that they were a different race, apparently, but they would, say that, oh, you're cute to be a black girl, or you're cute to be, your color, or things like that. They would insinuate, and it didn't really hit me until now. Of course, if you say that to me now, I'm going off. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? But back then, I kind of didn't see it as a problem. But nowadays, I'm like, that is a major issue. But we face that all the time. I think black women get that all the time. When they talk to another race of a woman, it's just, you're beautiful, you're cute, you're fine. Right. But for black women, we get, you're cute for a black woman, as though black women aren't cute, or it irks my soul.
And see, I feel like, not seeing a problem or being in competition with someone because of colorism means you're just unaware that it's colorism and not just what you're feeling in that moment. And I'm just happy that we're all, waking up to seeing that colorism is the problem, not our shades.
Right. Even seeing the other day on the internet that Zendaya. So the thing with Zendaya is, I was watching another interview or whatever, and a lady was like, well, I don't see, like, I know that she's a black woman, but I don't see myself in her. Okay, well, and to me, I just felt like that was a little wrong, because I feel like it's cool you don't see yourself in her, but look at what she did. She just got hired for a TV show, and she made them cast a whole entire black cast for her family. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you may not see that, but you got to see the back end of what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they could have easily made her white mom, black dad, or...
But then again, I feel like that's the problem right there. I don't see myself in her. Instead of saying she's a black woman, and she identifies with being a black woman, and that's what she is. She's black. We're all black. We are all sitting on right here. We are all black women. Yeah. And so it's not about, do I look like you? I am you. I'm a black woman. And so I think that's the problem with colorism today. We don't identify as one, like you said, white people do. They don't go off of, are you a redhead, are you a brunette? What are you exactly? They all identify as white. They identify as one group. And I think once we're able to see ourselves as one, the better it'll be.
Yeah. I also think, and I agree with you when you say that, but there is a bit of a gap in Hollywood with the whole, there's nothing but light-skinned women that you see. If they are going to be black, they're going to be this light-skinned girl.
Because colorism.
It's colorism. And so I think I can sympathize and empathize with women that say, I don't see myself in her. Okay. From a standpoint to where that's all they see. And, it was one point at Barbies, there was nothing but light-skinned Barbies. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing but, other race Barbies. And then there was never that darker skinned Barbie that you probably would want as a black girl. Right. And so in Hollywood, I feel like they do the same thing, that they're saying that if I'm going to get a black girl, then I'm going to make sure that I get this type of black girl that has more of a other race features in her. And then I'm going to glamorize that and be like, there's your black girl. So I can understand a little bit when that quote that she said that I just don't see myself in her. I feel like Hollywood and just what we project on TV, it needs to be real raw and real. And they need every shade of women to play every kind of part.
Ooh, check me. I like that.
I was looking on the internet, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to pull out my phone, but I think Dreamgirls, their whole cast was a bit darker skinned. And when they casted Beyonce, we know that she's a little lighter skinned. She took on that narrative of having that lead singer, a light skinned girl. So when they did plays and everything, now that Beyonce was one of the Dreamgirls, they set that tone of that skin color of being light skinned people. And so that's just one of the things that I can kind of empathize with the girl that says she don't see herself in that, because Dreamgirls was a very big movie. Those women were really, they did big things, positive things. And so what I think is that we need more of a different colors to be on the screen. And I'm saying still support one another, but in that realm, you want to get the full reality. I want my daughter to see all kinds of colors. I don't want my daughter just to see people like her that's light skinned and that, and she thinks that that's just it. Right. I want her to be able to support all shades and know that there is all shades. Right. And so, go ahead. No. And so, with just from my standpoint, I do think that's a big problem from what I see on TV, and it does irk me a little bit, because I'm like, every time, I'm gonna give y'all another example, and I'm gonna be quiet. But there was a show called My Wife and Kids. It started off when they first aired with this pretty brown-skinned, dark-skinned girl as the daughter. And as soon as that show got really famous, it started attracting a lot of audience more, they switched the girl. And the girl was light-skinned, fair-skinned, curly-haired girl that they switched it to. And that's just the narrative to show that in that industry and just society-wise, they want to make you think that lighter skin is the only depiction of black people when we have many shades. And so all I want to see on TV, and you're seeing it more, is just more shades of us. Right. Because I'm with light skin, dark skin, we're all black. And so I just want to see all the blackness all on the TV screen, and not just picked and choose that this is the type of black person and keep us in a box, because that also limits us as well, I feel like.
And it's one of those things, honestly, I'm just like, at this point, it's not going to change until we change it. And we can't wait on the men to decide, they're okay with whichever. It's like us women have to we're the ones that's going to have to change the narrative. And when I say that, I mean that by saying, trying to play neutral. I've seen a lot of people try to play neutral, or, it's not affecting me. So meaning light-skinned women sometimes feel like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. So I'm not going to say nothing. But it's like, no, that's your problem. Right. Say something. Right. Speak up. And it's almost, and I've been using this example for the past couple months. It's the same thing when we get upset with white people and we get mad that they're not speaking up on what's right because, it's not affecting me, so I'm going to be neutral, I'm going to be quiet. No, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Absolutely. So just because it doesn't affect you directly does not mean it does not affect you. So it's like, and it does not affect you at this moment. At some point, your child might be affected, your sibling, your sister, your friend, somebody around you is affected by colorism or racism. So speak up. So until we all do that as women, this will always be a problem. That mentality of it ain't my business. I'm gonna just turn it ain't got nothing to do with me, child. I'm gonna sip my tea and go on, It's like, no, stand up for that sister, stand up for her and stand up for yourself, because at the end of the day, that's a reflection of you, So
can't be complicit. That means you agree with the system.
Exactly. Neutral means you agree. I do not believe in neutral, okay?
In any way, in any situation.
It never works out, for real. Neutral never works out, because that just means you don't have an opinion, you don't have anything to stand on. Like, it's just like you just going with the naysayers,
and you don't care, and
you're just going with the flow. Wherever the wind blows, that's where you're going. It's like, no, have something to stand on, have some morals, have some values, have an opinion, have something to add to the world, And we all are supposed to have something. So it's just like, stop waiting on something to be at your front door to have an opinion and to stand up for what's right. It don't got to be at my front door for me to speak up. All Black Lives Matter. I don't have to wait, God forbid, for my brother or my cousin or my boyfriend or something to get hurt or anything for me to feel like Black Lives Matter. No, Black Lives Matter without it hitting my front door. I want to prevent it from hitting my front door, So I'm going to speak up when I need to and when I have to. So it's the same thing. It goes in all areas of our lives. Like, speak up when something needs to be spoken about, right or wrong. Speak up.
And again, I always say, if you can understand racism and how it affects on both ends, you can understand colorism. Yeah. You just won't, because again, you are benefiting from it.
Right.
In whatever way, if you're a woman, man, you're benefiting from it some way, which is why you're complicit or oblivious or feel like you don't need to learn more about it because you don't feel directly affected. Which we kind of already covered about, I want to get on misogyny and colorism and how that kind of intertwines. And how do men push the colorism agenda?
I don't know, but I will tell you, it is men that I have talked to that have a fascination with the fact that I'm white. And
those are always red flags to me.
That is a red flag. Yeah. And to me, that is just disgusting. Because you don't even care. Like she said, like, they'll just, like V said, they'll just look at you like, okay, well, you sit here and be quiet. when really you don't even know that
You're an
advocate,
object.
But I'm also like an advocate for just women in general. So, you know, and I have a mind. I have a lot to say, and it's like they kind of just want you to be like, they're just infatuated with the fact that I got curly hair or I'm light skinned, and to me that kind of scares me.
Yeah.
You know
It offends me.
It offends me, but
me.
it's also scary.
I feel like it's a little bit of Stockholm syndrome. Is that the word? Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because I think back in slavery days, you know, we black men saw that they took our woman, and they, you know, we got raped in front of them and all of those things, and it might be a little shy off, but that's just how I feel. I think that it played a part.
You think it's generational, kind of?
Yes, certain black men now where they feel like that they have to go get another race woman or white woman, if you will, to feel justified and feel like the man, because back then, you know, that was our history. And rather they lived in it or not, it still plays a point in today's society. And I feel like that's why those preferences come about, is because they feel like that makes them feel better when they're with someone lighter. And typically it's darker men that I'm talking about. They feel like they got to get the lighter woman. They don't want. I've heard men tell me that they're dark, and they say, I don't want another dark skinned girl. I don't want to have a dark child or a dark skinned child. And so that
self-hate.
I've heard it way more often than I should.
Me too.
And I'm like, why? How? You're black though. Your mom's black. Your
But then again,
sister's
that's
black.
colorism affecting them as well.
Men go through colorism as well. I think men, I'm going to say this, I think men, the lighter skinned men was known to be the, not wimp, but, you know, soft. And then the darker skinned men, seriously though, and then the darker skinned men was
That's
supposed to be
stereotype
the
going.
strong man, the more masculine man.
Right.
And so it
Colorism
plays,
in that too.
yeah, it's colorism with, you know, the
But
black.
where do you think that came from? Darker skinned men are what? On the plantation fields. Lighter skinned men are
said-
where? In the house.
Yeah, they got it a little bit more easier, and it plays a part, you know, just in. So we're not just talking about colorism within women, like it plays a part on the men's
Black
side as
people
well.
in
Black
general,
people.
This is what they do.
Yeah.
We
Do
have
you
to
guys
heal-
think it's different colorism, you know, effects on women versus men?
Yes, because I feel like men is not to the extent of what, like how women
Yeah.
have taken it, like where we've taken it to, like
Yeah.
or where men have taken it to for us. Like people have taken it far for us. I
Yeah.
don't feel like it's us taking it far, but it's like now it's been planted in our minds. So it's like now, yes, we're playing into it, but it's very much with everybody. But it's just also like men they're not like sitting up here saying, oh, you like that dark skinned man, or why you it's kind of like, oh, you like him. Guys don't care, you know, like
Yeah.
it's never that deep with them. But as women, it's just like now, like we're internalizing it. Now I feel unworthy. Now I don't love myself. Now I got to go change all these things about me so I can be accepted. Men
Yeah.
is not going to go through all these surgeries and skin changing and all these things just so they can be accepted. They like, I'm gonna go to the next person, you know. But us women, we gonna change every little thing about us so we can be accepted.
And do you guys think, and I'm not talking about as far as romantically, do you think that darker skinned men get favored a little bit more?
For sure.
Especially, yeah.
Now, of course,
especially
like
this day and age.
professionally, opportunities, you know. Sorry, white people will look at anything darker skin as being
Or
too
other
aggressive,
races,
too much. But as far as like within our own community, I think that darker skinned men are given a more privilege than lighter skinned men.
Yeah.
in a
Nowadays?
sense.
I think everybody would like them a dark skinned man, or even
Yeah.
like nowadays it's like African men, you know, are at the top of the you know, totem pole.
Dating wise, yeah,
Look,
I would say I don't know about black men in
Look,
like business and just out here in the streets and life in general. Hell no, but I think dating wise, yeah, I think they got a leg up. Popular
It's
as
like, why?
hell.
But why? Why does dark skinned men get a leg up and dark skinned women get the leg down? Like, what is the difference? We all, they just as dark. We all dark. Like, what is it?
And within our own community, we have set this standard, like, to where men devalue darker skinned women, but then again, we uplift and over sexualize dark skinned men.
Do you know what it is? It's the men, because I feel like we uplift our men. That's why. Yeah. But the men devalue us. That's why. Yeah. It's our black men. They play into it a lot. Like, it's just like, yo, like, y'all not on our side. Y'all not standing up for us like y'all should. Y'all sitting up here playing into these people's hands and like now creating more of an issue for us, while us black women are standing up for our black men. Y'all don't see us trying to go marry, you know, John and whoever else. And if we do, there's no problem with that. But we're not going to down you when we do that. If we do want to do that, it's just like, but y'all going to down us for wanting a foreign woman or wanting an exotic looking woman. It's just like, but why? Because a black woman's not enough. When we the one taking care of y'all, we the ones making sure y'all strong and y'all have all that y'all need.
Rallies with you,
like in the trenches, like it's just, I don't get it. It's really the black men, honestly.
No, I think that they do. They have a big part to play within colorism in the community.
It really is.
They do. They continue it,
and they're the ones that's carrying the narrative. Like you know, the rappers.
That's what you said, carrying the narrative.
Yeah, it's like we didn't start the narrative, but they're carrying it. You know, like they planted it, and it's like now we're y'all just playing along at this point, like just being their little puppets.
And again, I think the problem is with them is lack of education, lack of awareness, lack of conversations of colorism with them. So they truly, I feel like men sometimes truly don't see the issue.
Yeah, they just don't know better.
And that's fine. I didn't know better at the time too, but I feel like it's some type of, I don't know, pushback with, I don't even want to hear it. I disagree with it because they don't want to accept that I played a part in this. We all have at one point. And it's okay if you have, but listen, read up on it, and try to change your point of view. Yeah. Because we trying to come together.
Or they try to make it seem as if the whole thing with the preference or prejudice is like, there is a difference with you having a preference. Like, nobody's telling you can't like what you like. What you like, whatever you're attracted to, but you don't have to take away from a crowd of people, a crowd of a race or whoever, a skin tone, just to say I would rather not, and I like this. You know, just like what you like, but it's like I still love my black women. You know, I still love my dark skinned women. You know, it takes nothing away from you guys that I like exotic looking women, or you know, whatever you like. That's fine. Everybody has a preference, but it's just like you don't have to devalue the other to
I think that's the only problem. Just like Dave Chappelle said, he likes white women with dirty feet. And that's his preference, but he's not going to devalue black women while saying that. You can like whatever you like. You can only date exclusively whoever you like, but uplift your people,
or just leave us out of it.
Hey, that's the thing. Why we brought into it?
Just leave us out of it.
I date white women because black women argue too much. I date this and that because
nobody want to go through all that. It's too much nagging or all this. That's like no, because you don't want to do right. You know, you want a woman that's just gonna shut up. And it's been said that black women ain't gonna allow it, you know, or black women gonna say, you know, I deserve this, or black women gonna stand up for themselves. It's just like
that's a strong black woman narrative right there.
But also, I think that it turns into a colorism thing at the end of the day, because you have men that say that, they argue too much, y'all too loud, y'all too this, that, and the third. But a Latino woman is loud. They get praised for it, and they get this sort of
it's sexy
stigma that it's sexy, it's beautiful. You know, she take off her shoe and throw it at you, beautiful. But I'm dead ass, and I'm just going on. She's spicy,
spicy mommy,
spicy mommy, and that is the stigma that we go through. But when a black woman was to, you know, yell and take her shoe and throw it, she's angry. She's mad. Oh, I can't do. I don't like that. I don't like y'all.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just. That is a colorism part, because you look a certain way and then she looks a certain way, and if she does it, then it makes it spicy. But if you do it, you have an attitude.
It's internalized. Again, I feel like it's some sort of, like you said earlier, self-hate or some type of thing that they may internalize, and they may not know where it stems from, or may not even understand it to know that that's what they're doing. And so again, it's all about education and awareness. And I just would love for another segment to have some men on here and question them about it.
Yes. I think a part 2 would be beautiful with men.
But also, I'm sorry, I just want to rebuttal back on this.
Go ahead.
One thing that she said. She was like, just because it has nothing to do with you don't mean that it's not going to affect your kids. And I just, with all the whole entire biracial things that's going on, when you have a kid with a black man or woman or and your kid comes out darker than what you thought because of Instagram or because of whatever you see on the internet, then what? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so yes, right is right, wrong is wrong.
To even have that thought process is sick to me.
I've heard so many people say it, or men and some women. It's like, I want to have a baby with a lighter skinned dude because then my baby was going to be pretty and da-da-da.
But that's fine.
It's...
No, that's fine. But at the end of the day, your child's still going to be black. And your child is still going to have to deal with racism. So
That's what I was
on a piece of
coming
paper,
to.
she has to circle, or he has to circle black. Nobody cares if she's biracial or interracial, whatever. Like, nobody cares. Like,
but she's still gonna be looked at as a, or he.
yeah,
still
and
gonna
now
be looked
she
at
still has to
as
go
black.
through something. Like, she
I
still
still
has
look at the parents a little bit as, I feel like if you are aspiring to have a light skinned chick, I'm sorry, I can't talk today. If you're aspiring to have a light skinned kid with someone, that's your goal. That means you will be disappointed if you've seen something else, and that is just, I don't know, it's delusional to me. Like, you're having kids for the wrong reason, and you're having kids to simply perpetuate colorism because you think they're going to have a better chance at life if they're lighter skin, if they have good hair, whatever that means.
Yeah, that's sad. That society has us all jacked up because that's just very, just it's the cold hard facts of it all. But it's very tough to come to realization that is something that some people kind of want because they want the best for their kid. So they know that, like you said, you're going to be black no matter what. But I want to try to make you light as black I can so you can have a little bit easier in life. And so I think it just
what's it? Trauma.
It's trauma, but it also starts off with the names too. Like, people be so surprised. Don't know I'm biracial. Hi. People be so surprised when they find out my name is Kadeja. They be like, "What? Like, that's your name?" Like, and is it? I don't know if it's because I'm light skinned or is it because like
stereotype.
Like, that's insulting to me because I like my name. And for the longest, I felt like, well, I mean, I shorted it for athletic reasons, but for the longest, I didn't want to go by Kadeja because every time I told somebody my name, they looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
And that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? They're like, your name can't be Kadeja, you're light skinned. Like, come on, bro. Yes,
yeah,
that's
there's
my
people
name.
who make sure when they're naming their kids it's something that they can get a job with.
Yeah, and fuck them jobs.
Hello.
Lord, I can't say that enough time.
But I'm just saying, like,
but I'm gonna get up in the morning.
I don't want to work for nobody if I can't put down on the application my name is Kadeja and I can't go in there and be Kadeja and get the job.
But at the end of the day, we can't act like that's not our reality either.
Yeah, it is.
Like, the reality is you are judged by your name. You are judged by what you look like. So I can understand why some parents, I personally probably won't feed into that, but I can understand why some parents do that just to try to make things easier for their child, so they don't have to be discriminated or judged just simply off of paper without even being given an opportunity,
Right.
That's just our reality, and we can't ignore reality, whether we want to believe it or not. This is what it is.
It's just sad.
It is.
Sick, sad world.
It's unfortunate, but like, do you have any advice for women who are, darker complected with just, I guess, facing this if they have to deal with this every day? I mean, I know you said that, you got to look into yourself.
Everything starts with self.
Right.
Everything. That's it took me a long time to get to this point, but everything starts with self. And I think I was always waiting for somebody to tell me I was worthy or make me feel worthy or give me the answers to a lot of things. And I had to realize, like, no matter who sees what in me, I have to see it.
Right.
Like, I've had people speak so much life into me, but it's like I can't believe it. I don't believe it because I don't see it. So it's like, in this season of my life, I've been working on looking in the mirror and, like, asking myself, like, are you proud of what you see? What do you see? Do you love what you see? And finding love with that, falling in love with myself. I feel like right now I am falling in love with myself. I'm letting go of the things that people told me I was, or I have to be this way, I have to look this way, or I'm like, I'm a bald, blonde, beautiful black woman, dark skinned, African, I'm all of those things that most people said they don't like, but it's like I embrace it now, and I want our younger girls, our older girls, and I know women to this day that struggles with loving themselves because they don't look a certain way. I know I have friends who I can see it in them, like they're not secure with who they are because they don't look a certain way, and it's just like, it don't matter what you go by, it don't matter what you change about yourself.
I know that's right.
It does not make somebody value you, does not make somebody love you. So it's like, until you value yourself for all and who you are, nobody else will see it, you know. And even if they do, it's for a moment, you know, and you want this to be for a lifetime, because you have to sit with yourself, you know. Nobody else can sit with you when you're alone, when you're down and out, when you're up and you're high and you're going through great things and success and all these things. Like, you have to sit with yourself and you have to journey with yourself. So I would just say, just sit with self. And sometimes a lot of us don't want to sit with self. We want to sit with others. We want to have company. It's just like, no, be comfortable alone. And that doesn't mean you're lonely. Just be comfortable alone with yourself. Like, you know, enjoy and learn yourself. You have to fall in love with yourself again. Relearn yourself. You know, value yourself. Be vulnerable with yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And Black is beautiful.
It is. And embrace it.
I want to end this on, and you're going to close out, but I want to end this on a positive note about, you know, just Black women and colorism. I wanted to just give y'all insight on Vanessa Williams, Black beauty, first Miss America in the 80s. She set the path. You know, she set the standard. She gave Black women hope that you are beautiful to be in a pageant and win it and overcome it and become that crown. And, you know, another woman is Kenya Mortar, we all know. You know, she was Miss USA in the 90s. Shortly after that, she was saying that, you know, Vanessa Williams was the one that gave her influence to say, hey, I'm a Black woman. I'm even darker than her and more curvier than her. And she just gave her that flight and, you know, just confidence to go after doing the same things that she did. And so she ended up taking the crown as Miss USA in the 90s as well. And I say that to end it on this, that it's an example of unifying. And, you know, if we just do that little work, even that little bit, as Vanessa telling herself that I'm confident enough to get up here and be an example for Black women, then, you know, things will follow and things will be in a domino effect, and it can become a union for all of us. And so if we just practice, each of us, on any little thing, just sticking up for one another or becoming more confident and positive and just speaking up for one another, it's going to get a domino effect and each of us are going to follow. Right. And so I just think that was just wonderful, beautiful for me to just think about earlier today, and I just thought that really hit home. Right. So I thought I'd say it.
We love to hear it.
And can I say one thing too?
Yeah.
In hearing you say that, I'm like, with women, like, be inspired when you see another Black woman shining. You know, like, don't look at it as a fear or jealousy. Like, be inspired to know, like, I want to have that type of confidence. If you don't have it at that moment, I want to have it. And I feel like that's why I can say I haven't struggled. Like, jealousy and envy is not a struggle area for me, but I know it's a real thing. Like, you know, some of us struggle in that area, but I've internalized mine to where I look at myself a certain way. But I'm like, I'm inspired when I see women walk into a room and demand it. And not because they're like, they too good or anything. It's like, no, I could tell you love yourself, sis. And I want to love myself the way you love yourself, you know? And I'm inspired. And when I see stuff like that, that pushes me. I'm like, it's work to be done internally, you know? It ain't nobody else's job to give me confidence, you know, or make me feel good about myself. And like, that's why I say, starting the conversation, it's not my job to make nobody comfortable. You know, if you uncomfortable with my confidence or who I am, hey, you're going to have to sit there, actually, because I'm not going nowhere, you know. So be inspired. Be encouraged. Embrace women like that, because we need more examples like that. We need, you don't know what that woman had to go through to get that confidence or fight, or who she had to fight, or what she had to fight to overcome to get to where she's at. So be inspired. Be encouraged. Like, I want to have that. It's possible. I see it in my Black women and my sisters. So I know it's possible for me to also withhold that internally and show that externally, you know? Right. So
I don't know about y'all, but I'm feeling great.
Hello.
I'm feeling good with these up talks. Okay. Yes. There's not enough external validation that can make me love myself. Right. So like you were saying, do the work. Do the work. And, you know, we want to make sure, well, I always said a big factor with combating colorism is awareness and education. So, guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our email newsletter. We will be sending out resources and tips on colorism, healing, finding yourself, and just helping us all, you know, fight this disease.
Yes. Healing.
Can we cheers
That's
to
the
that?
Cheers to healing, girl.
But before we cheers to that, V, would you like to shout out your platforms and tell the people a little bit about what you do?
You guys can follow me at Verified by V. Also, The Durag Shawty. I just launched my new business. It's unisex.
Hey.
Yay, starting something new in the fashion industry that I feel like would do great, and it's just something new to vibe out to and just add something different to your wardrobe and stuff. So yes, and also I'm just a big advocate for mental health and healing and loving yourself and just, you know, embracing who we are as individuals and doing the work. So I'm all for everybody that's doing the work and, you know, just out here not trying to carry on generational curses. We're trying to break generational curses. We're trying to do better and change the narrative. So, yes.
Okay. So with that being said, guys, thank you for tuning into PressHer Podcast. Another episode. Season 2. If you're not already following us on Instagram, please do so. We're on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, and if you don't have access to those, we have a website, PressHerPodcast.com. Check us out, and thank you for joining.
Cheers.
Cheers to healing.
Cheers to healing.
Cheers to healing.